up. Carpet, nails, staples, some dirt. I took our 5-way tool and got between some of the cracks right there and got some of the dirt out.
There's a lot of dirt.
There's a lot of dirt. Here's one. I didn't get the dirt out. There's a bunch of stuff in there. But it's 130 years of
Living?
greasy, grimy gopher guts. So what are your initial thoughts on the floor and what you see?
Well, it looks better than I thought it would. It doesn't look good, but I mean, I don't know. I pictured big, huge missing sections, or just, I mean, it's in rough shape, that's for sure. That little square.
You mean like this?
Yeah, that's where a register would have been.
I think that's probably where a register was.
And then that's the missing piece that somebody's just patched. I don't know, but.
You know, it's got lead all over it.
Yeah. So, but it looks better than I thought it would.
And if you haven't seen, I don't know if you've seen or not. Can't remember.
If it's any indication of what it could look like.
I sanded this small part with my palm sander. So there was what was underneath the linoleum in this closet, if you remember in one of our other videos. And then I sanded this section with my palm sander, and this is what it turned out to be, which that looks really promising and awesome. And I've got, so one of our very first videos, I did the attic upstairs, and where I pulled all the boards off of the attic floor upstairs.
Because it's tongue and groove.
It's tongue and groove. I'm gonna assume it's a similar wood, if not the same wood for the floor. So point being, I think I've got wood to scab into this and make repairs. And then once it's sanded and sealed, it'll just blend in. It'll kind of all look the same. So that's my hope for some of these bad spots.
Like that one.
I think the first thing to do is going to be sand it.
Yeah, we need to rent a sander.
We gotta rent a sander. We're gonna sand the SH out of it and then see what we got and assess it a little further at that point. That one's real loose.
Maybe there's treasure underneath it. I'm telling you, lift it up.
I can't. I think it's a nail.
This is where people bury their hundreds. Their millions.
Or their bodies. Oh gosh, cut my wrist.
There's treasure. There's treasure. Nope, there are wires though, just like you said. No treasure.
Yeah, so I think what happened was somebody cut this floor up when they got electricity, and that was the way, that was the answer, the solution to running whatever wire.
Oh yeah, show those holes over there.
You got 3 holes cut right there, and then they cut this board. And then they ran that electrical wire.
And there's holes over here too.
Yeah, and they drilled those holes and ran that wire. I mean, that was the way they ran the power.
No treasure.
No treasure.
I thought my life was about to change.
Millions and millions of dollars are still a dream.
At least there's not a body down there. Let's look on the bright side. There's one in the basement. I'm sure of it.
You see where somebody scabbed. Scabbed right there in order to...
Ooh, that's loose.
Yeah, the whole thing's bad.
Yeah. Huh.
Anyway, I can fix it. Here you go.
Look, here's a loose one too. More treasure. Oh. Oh, yep.
What?
Walnuts.
Squirrel!
Stop. Gosh. Ugh, gosh.
Squirrel!
And that's not too far-fetched.
Today is a sand the floor day. Sand the floor.
Sand the floor. I just swept the floor. Let's show the floors. We have some work ahead of us. There's lots of wear and tear.
Got a few cut boards I have to repair. No big deal, whatever. All I could rent was the drum sander. The edge sander was already rented. But I've got my palm sander that I did this with. And even though it took about an hour to do that little spot, if that's all I can do, that's all I can do.
So I've already gone through and I've swept and checked, double checked for staples. All the staples are gone. All the dirt's swept up. I swept between the cracks to get everything as clean as possible. So
Did you get your crack clean?
got my crack clean.
Well,
Here we go, wish us luck.
yeah, wish us luck. Here we go. I've never done this before, so I hope I don't. I'm gonna start in the middle because I think if I screw it up, which I don't think I'll screw it up. If I screw it up, we can cover it with an area rug. If all else fails. Or we'll just carpet the daggone thing, forget about it all.
If we really screw it up, we'll just put carpet back. We've gotten delayed a little bit. We've been doing a few other things, one of which was going to the store and I bought a coarser grit sandpaper. We had done this little bit, and what happened, or what was happening, which Rob's changed it out now, but on the sandpaper you could see where the varnish was building up on the drum, the piece of paper. And so we did a little investigating and determined that we should probably go with the coarsest grit of sandpaper available at the store. So that's what I did. I went and bought that. And like I said, we got sidetracked with some other things that we needed to do around here, but we're back because we, if nothing, are persistent. So we're gonna try to, we're gonna try to finish this. What are we doing?
I guess.
Yeah, I have pizza dough rising in the oven, so that's our goal.
Pizza!
We're gonna try to get as much of this done today as we can so that this floor can be on its way to being refinished. So far so good. I mean, it doesn't look terrible. It probably looks worse on camera. That's because we weren't, I don't think, using the right grit. So we'll see. What do you think? How do you feel about your experience sanding so far?
I don't know. Discouraged that the 60 grit is not evidently good enough. And then we had to go back and get more grittier sandpaper. I mean, 60 is pretty rough stuff. And I don't know. I think we've got about a quarter of the place done so far. A fifth? But we got a fifth of it done. 1, 2, 3. Yeah. A sixth. 1/6 of the place done.
This is what happens. This isn't even the worst, but this is what happens when you're trying to sand off varnish and stain. It
loads up.
Yeah, it loads up on the.
And the only thing I know to do is to take like a knife or my 5-way tool and just scrape that stuff off. Because what happens is that stuff loads up and then it is higher than the sandpaper, so that that's what makes contact with the floor, and the sandpaper doesn't hit the floor, and it's I know. But it's ridiculous. That's what it is. This is the biggest problem. Is this where it loads up? I don't know if the camera can, yeah, the camera can see it. I mean, that is just varnish where it's like burning. It's like burning into the sandpaper. I mean, I've gone fast, I've gone slow. I have no idea how to prevent this. This is the biggest problem that we're facing. Is that when you're doing a new spot that is heavily varnished, it loads up like this and you're done. You're just done with it. There's nothing else you can do with it. So I gotta take this off and then bring it out here to the garage and just scrape it off. So you go from that, and then after you scrape it, you get somewhat of a new piece, but good Lord, it's a pain.
We've gone over everything once. There's tons of sawdust, so we need to sweep that up before we kind of can see. It's hard to see right now what we need to go back over. So we're going to sweep that up with the shop vac and see what we're working with. After sweeping with the shop vac, we got all the sawdust up, so you can see it's easier to tell now where we need to go over with the sander. It was kind of all getting covered up. There's just a few spots here and there. We'll probably go over with, what do you think, 36 grit? Can you hear me? Hello? Okay. Probably go over some spots again.
I'm gonna go over all of the 36 again.
Okay, you heard the man.
I'm gonna go over everything with 36 again.
We're done with the sander, the belt sander, but not with sanding. I think we're gonna go now and rent an orbital sander.
Maybe, I don't know. I might see what I can do with my palm sander. Just with like 120 grit on my palm sander. For the main floor, we've got to get an edger for the edges and then the closet. I don't know what I'm gonna do there. I don't know, I may just use my palm sander on all of it and see what I can do. I mean, it's tough. It's not easy with that little palm sander, but I can do it. I don't know, this thing was fine, but there are spots where, man, the floor was uneven and just did not want to, it just didn't want to get things done real well. I don't know. So bottom line is, if you're ever refinishing wood floors with that belt sander or drum sander, I mean, don't think you're just gonna make a pass and back up and everything's gonna be great. That's not the way it works. In some spots it was okay, but I don't know, we spent a few hours doing this. Just in a 13 by 12 room. And I mean, I guess it's better than elbow grease, but it wasn't just
Back and forth.
back and forth and it was all good. It was some work, so I guess we're done with the first
With that.
layer of varnish removing, sanding.
Which, that was the toughest, is getting the varnish off.
Yeah,
The biggest.
but the edges aren't going to be any fun.
No.
This is
It's just gonna take a while.
it's a lot of work. So, all right, we'll see you on the next step. So yesterday I got the edges done. I went and rented an edge sander like you see on all the YouTube channels. And I don't know if it was just the brand that I rented, but it did not work well for me. I didn't show a lot of that footage, frankly, because I was so frustrated. It wasn't really worth it. I ended up doing all the edges with my palm sander. I just bit the bullet and did it. There may be some of that footage. That we're gonna put a, we're gonna find a grill and put in there, kind of a faux grill. So it'll have the look, but it's not gonna be there. So don't sweat that. Anyway, did all the edges with the palm sander. The edge sander that I rented, it only had one speed, so I couldn't slow it down. And when I tried to use it, I mean, I think it was going so fast that, the sandpaper loaded up instantly, and it was just useless. After like 2 feet, the sandpaper would just load up and it was done. So I got mega frustrated and just shut it off and got my palm sander and just did the rest of the room. So there's the closet. I got it all done. I'll show you what just a few feet of 130 years of grime looks like. I'm using my 5-way tool and I'm just kind of digging it out, and then so there's about 3 feet of cleaning between 2 boards. I gotta do that everywhere. Good times. So I've got this piece of wood right here that is obviously way out of place. And I was just gonna leave it because I think what we're probably gonna do, the bed's gonna go right here. We'll put a throw rug down. I think that's kind of what her plan is. But my OCD won't allow me to do that, so I'm gonna try to do something. The boards that we took out of the attic upstairs when I insulated, I saved all those, and I got one of those, so I'm hoping the wood is similar, and that's what I'm gonna put back in here. It'll definitely look better than this, so we'll give it a shot. Okay, so probably be finding this a lot in these floors, but right there's the electrical wire. So my guess is, and you can tell by the evidence, whenever they wired this house for power, instead of doing something more practical and logical in order to save the floor, it looks like they just stuck a circular saw right here, and because you can see where a circular saw would have went, they hacked that, and then they didn't do it on this side, so I don't know how they got that off or broke that, but they didn't use the circular saw on this side, which I guess is good.
So I decided to take the whole board out because the end where they patched it originally was all just nasty.
Jacked up?
Mm-hmm.